Hello and welcome to the 2017 Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Rally, Ireland's only event to cater solely for historic rally cars and night stage rallying. It's the 39th year of the event and counts as the first round of the 2018 Irish Tarmac Historic Rally Championship, and is set in the beautiful surrounds of Killarney, County Kerry. It's Christmas time in the Kingdom, and our Siobhan got the best seat in the house as the drivers and crews headed for the ceremonial start in Killarney.
It's Christmas and welcome to the Kingdom of Kerry for the Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Rally. Now, with such a massive entry, it's easy to see why this is the most prestigious historic rally event in Europe.
And at the ceremonial ramp, Siobhan caught up with some very important people, including Irish member of the European Parliament and local man Sean Kelly.
Sean Kelly, it's so great to see you here in Killarney. What does the rally mean for you?
Oh, first of all, it's an absolute thrill to get behind the wheel of a Porsche. Can you imagine that? I never went beyond a small little Mini up until now, but now thanks to Michael O'Mahony and Rentokil Initial, I'm one of the few people ahead of the Healy Rays.
Next up, local TD, Michael Healy-Ray, who'd obviously forgotten his tin whistle.
And what's so special about the Kingdom?
Oh, sure, there's no place in the world like Kerry. You could travel all of the Western world and there isn't a place like Kerry, and there definitely isn't a place like Killarney. This is the tourism capital of the world.
Of more interest to rally fans, we caught up with Irish World Rally co-driver Paul Nagel.
My dad organised this rally the first time back in 1996, so I was only a young kid back then helping him out, and it's came a long way from that many years ago, and for me to be involved in my home rally it's very important, and it's where it all started for me many years ago, helping out organising the rallies, and that's where I got the urge to start rallying, and it's taken many leaps and turns and ups and downs in the last 20 odd years, but yeah, it's been pretty successful, and I have to say this is where it all started.
And so to the contenders. First through, the number one seed and defending champion Ryan Barrett from Tyrone in his Ford Escort.
Well, we're going to give it a good shot on me. We're coming here to win. We're not coming here to finish second, so no, we'll give it our best, you know. No better place to be this time of year, you know, all the Christmas lights and everything. The crowd here, the rally is good, so I wasn't going to do it to begin with, but then I just had to do it, so I had to go out and buy a car to go and do the rally.
Evans was the first non-Irish driver to win the Irish National Rally Championship and would be a real threat in Killarney, as would Mark Falvey in his Mark 1 Escort.
Mark, great to see you here, and of course Rentokil sponsoring your beautiful car.
Yes, they're came on board again this year. We're delighted to have Mike and Rentokil on board, and sure, they're doing a great job for the rally as well. So we're delighted, and we're really looking forward to the event.
And making a welcome return to the Kingdom, rally legend Jimmy McRae in his Vauxhall Firenze Can-Am.
The magic of rallying, does it ever end, or does it continue to get bigger and better for you every year?
Certainly, it's still there, and my wife keeps saying, when is it going to stop? But I still enjoy it. I love the atmosphere, and it's great to come back to Killarney again.
Local man Rob Duggan competed on the World Rally Championship in 2017 and was back in Killarney in his Mark 2 Escort.
It's been a big year for us, 2 rounds of the World Championship. Going fairly well while we were out there, but budget caught us in the end. So now we're just happy to be back here in Irish rallying, and hoping for a good cut here tomorrow.
What a machine. Tell us about the car.
Yeah, it's a 2.5 million Escort. It was great for Colin Byrne to give me the loan of it. Thank our sponsors for coming on board, Rentokil Initial, to get us here to the start line. So hopefully we'll do them proud tomorrow and get the win again.
And as the cars headed away to get ready for this year's 8-stage event, this is what awaits them on this year's rally. Stage 1 is up the famous Moll's Gap stage and down into Kenmare. Moll's Gap is also Stage 3. Stages 2 and 4 will see the cars traverse Ballochbeema before they head north to Cara Lake, which will be run twice in succession for Stages 5 and 6. The final stage of this year's event is Rockfield, which will be run twice in succession, and it is Stages 7 and 8, with the final run over the stage in darkness.
Daylight is breaking and anticipation is building as our drivers prepare to take on the iconic Moll's Gap. Now the frost is held off, but it is quite slippy and it's freezing.
And so to the action in this year's event, and the cars and drivers line up at the foot of the famous Moll's Gap stage. At the top of the gap, the crowds are up early in anticipation of a good day's rallying. And the leader after the opening 2 stages, Moll's Gap and Ballochbeema, is County Cork driver Dennis Moynihan and his co-driver Gerard Conway in their Ford Escort. There are 2 categories in this year's event: Historics and Modified, of which more shortly. Moynihan won the 2015 Killarney Historic Rally and was second after Moll's Gap, but took the lead by 0.4 of a second after the second stage.
Dennis Moynihan, I thought you were in retirement.
Yeah, look, we just came back from an old blast, that was it, so we couldn't, but I had to pass this event, it's on our doorstep, so it's such an enjoyable one, and they put on such lovely stages, so it's hard to stay away from it, you know.
The Mark 1 Ford Escort of Kerry's Mark Falvey and Dermot Lynch led over the first stage by 8.8 seconds. However, a small spin on stage 2 handed the lead to Moynihan, but there was a mere blink of an eye between the two after 2 stages. Falvey too is a former winner and is back after a 3-year gap in the ex-Billy Coleman Escort.
80 to 1 right over the crest and 60 to 4 right coming up. And the 4 right which tightens down at the rock into cut the 2 left, and 60 to 2 right over the crest coming up, 150 out of it to a right entry chicane, tight exit, your side right entry.
And away went the number 1 seeds and last year's winners Ryan Barrett and Paul McCann. No heroics for the pair, and third behind Moynihan and Falvey after 2.
Down to the bottom left, 4 left and a sudden 6 right. 4 left and a sudden 6 right, hook the right. 4 left, shiny. 4 right over bridge, watch the curves. 3 left, whoa, well held. 40 up the lay-by. And 5 right, hook plus. In the long 4 left, tightens on the exit.
After 2 stages, the pair were some 36 seconds in arrears in 3rd place.
Use the road all the way to the end now, yeah. Crest, 26 left, don't cut. Don't cut this one, 80. 2 right over small crest, take plus 60 down to the bottom. 6 right opens, use the road.
4th in the left-hand drive, Talbot Sunbeam, Owen Murphy and Limerick navigator Anthony Nestor. The car was only finished on the Thursday before the rally, and they slotted into 4th in historics, 2 seconds behind Barrett.
4 right, half long, push hard, 40. 5 left, 40, 1 left, 40. Bad, 1 right, half long, 40. Flat 4 right, opens, 150. 3 left at the sign, tightens. Into 2 left at the chevron, tightens long.
Owen Murphy, hailing from Cork, but doing pretty well in the Kingdom.
Yeah, we're having a good run now this morning. This car was only brand new. It was only finished Thursday night, so my test in the car was the first one up Moll's Gap this morning, so I was a bit nervous, but we're not too bad. We're thereabouts.
Melvin Evans' new Escort had gearbox issues and he couldn't select 4th, which his crew had to change its service. Evans, though, was 5th after 2 runs, 1 minute and 2 seconds back from the leader Moynihan. No problems for UK visitor Gareth Lloyd and his co-driver David Byrne from County Wexford. Not great speed from the pair, but a steady run to 6th place after 2 tests, but already over a minute and a half off the leaders.
flat right then. 80, long flat left. 2 right over crest at Grotto. There you go, yeah, 2 right over crest into 4 right late. 6 left then, Ted. And 60. Flat right. 125 down the middle, very long 2 right, tightens care.
Welshman Thomas Davis was driving his dad's BMW, but he retired after special stage 1 with differential trouble. Ernie Graham's BMW suffered a puncture on stage 1. Took him ages to change it, and he eventually retired. Next through the wonderful sounds and grunt of the Forenza, driven by the legend Jimmy McRae, navigated by Pauline Gullick. Not in overall contention, but wonderful to see the 5-time British Rally champion still rallying.
Jimmy, back in Mull's Gap, how did you fare?
Aye, very good. No problem. The car's the first time in tarmac, so it was a wee bit suck it and see, but not too bad. Very happy.
Powering up the gap first time around, Pat Looney and Tom Kelleher from Kerry in their Ford Escort, a brand new build for the car, and plenty of sideways action from the Tail Abbey Escort.
Pat, 8th overall, and of course being from Killarney must give you an advantage.
Yeah, I don't know, I suppose a small bit alright, but it's a new car, it's a new build, and actually Mull's Gap was our first spin in it, so we're just trying to get used to it now, but from now on we'll put on the pressure from now on.
Next to Corkman, Dennis Cronin, uncle of 4-time British Rally champion Keith. First time doing a tarmac event in a Mark II in 25 years. Ross Ford from Galway is an ex-Motorsport Ireland Young Rally Driver of the Year recipient. He was going well in 9th, but he retired his RS 1800 with mechanical trouble at first service. No problems, however, for England's Alan Watkins and his Welsh co-driver, Lion Tractor Williams, in their RS 2000. They were safely inside the top 10 after the opening 2 stages. John Coyne, back from the USA, and co-driver Stephen Joyce from Galway, brought their Talbot Sunbeam Lotus into 11th place after the opening 2 tests. Coyne was a regular on the Irish rallying scene in the 1980s, and indeed was the 1982 Irish Tarmac Rally champion.
If I remember correctly, I haven't done these stages since 1982. So when I did the recce yesterday, it all came flooding back. They're just fantastic stages. I mean, really, really good.
And so to service for the historic cars and the all-important tyre choice before the second runs over Mull's Gap and Ballygbeema.
What would be your recommendation for tyres right now in this current condition?
Well, really the softest we can get on the cars at the moment without overheating the tyres. And that's really what it boils down to. I don't think we need many cuts or many open tyres at the moment. It's not really heavy enough.
We move away from the historics to the modified section of this year's Killarney Historic Rally. The modified rallying cars are based on ordinary family saloons. They're much tougher though, they have an extra strong chassis and many mechanical parts are upgraded, including expensive Millington engines, mainly in Mark II Escorts. And they're much quicker than the historic cars as a result, as we go on board with Rob Duggan and co-driver Tara Duggan as they fly up the gap.
Right side, 5 left plus 150. 4 right minus through the bridge, 60. Flat 5 left plus over crest OK, 80.
Their 2.5 litre Millington Escort led after 2 stages, but Rob opined that it's sliding all over the place and was eager to get more suitable tyre compound for the next loop. Second, Cavan's Gary Kiernan and Ryan Moore from Donegal, who found it too slippy to commit on the opening 2 tests. After 2 stages, the pair were 16.8 seconds down on Duggan's Escort. A similar story for Jonathan Pringle and Paul Sheridan. They found that Mull's Gap was treacherous, but that Ballygbeema offered better grip to their Escort. After 2 stages, Pringle was third in the modifieds, 29.4 seconds off the leaders. Kilkenny's Enda O'Brien found that his confidence was knocked a little after some sideways moments on stage 1. But he and co-driver John Butler were happier after stage 2. Their Escort was 4th now, just 5.2 seconds off 3rd place Pringle. No problems for Longford's Tommy Doyle and co-driver Liam Moynihan from Cork. After the opening 2 runs for the modified cars, their escort was 5th in the standings, 34.6 seconds off leader Rob Duggan. Damien Toner from Armagh felt he lost too much time with too hard a compound tyre on his Ford Escort. He and co-driver Marty Toner were 6th in the modified section after the opening 2 stages, 10.9 seconds adrift of Tommy Doyle. Next, the local crew of Colin and Kieran O'Donoghue, who were going well in their Escort. They were in the top 8 after 2 stages and were hoping to stay there over the remaining 6 tests. The All-Cork crew of Damien O'Sullivan and Owen McCarthy were in the same 1600cc class as Colin and Kieran O'Donoghue, who were having a more cautious drive in their rear-wheel drive Toyota Starlet.
2 right into 2 left. So repeats 2 right into 2 left into caution. 1 left over crest tightens to 3 left. Think into short 4 right and 1 right over crest into 4 left into 4 right. Feet into 4 left into 4 right into short 5 right and 5 left. 5 left here. 40 up.
A thumbs up from local crew, father and son, Charlie and John Hickey, the crew who are part of the Rentokil initial stable of cars. Charlie, a veteran of the Killarney Historic Stages Rally, the pair safely inside the top 10 in modifieds after 2 stages.
Charlie, a few decades under your belt and you keep coming back.
That's right, yeah. I'll stay at it as long as I can.
You've got the local knowledge as well this weekend.
That's right. Stages that I know very well. But still, they're greasy, they're slippery, there's everything there, but it's very enjoyable.
This is the Monaghan crew of Raymond Conlon and James O'Reilly in their Toyota Corolla Twin Cam. They were leading the 2-litre class after the opening 2 stages. Limerick's Stephen Baughan and navigator Chris O'Connell were in the same class, but struggling for grip on the treacherous surfaces, but they weren't holding back.
120, 4 right, this is our flat one. 4 right here, 300, 4 right here, 300. 4 right here, 300, go, Cally, 300, all the way up. And there was 6 right here, there was 6 right plus here, 150, 6 right here, keep it on it. 6 right here, all the way to skate, go on. Right into 3 bales.
A regular in the National Rally Circuit is Vincent Collins. He rocked the house at the recent end-of-season award show with an impromptu performance behind the drum kit. He and co-driver Patrick Bryant, however, found the spectacular stages of Killarney hard to beat.
This is a super stages. I wanted to do Malls Gap and Ballybina, so far we got through them anyway. Such a buzz, and I think it's a great day having the rally on a Saturday, so we can let our hair down. Not that I have much of that, but we can let our hair down Saturday night and go home with sore heads tomorrow. So it's a great atmosphere, everything, and the way it's organised, credit to the organisers.
2 stages down then on this year's event, the leader Dennis Moynihan, he's got a 0.4 second lead from Mark Falvey, with Ryan Barrett, last year's winner, in 3rd ahead of Owen Murphy and Melvin Evans. In the modifieds, Rob Duggan has chalked up a 16.8 second lead from Gary Kiernan, Jonathan Pringle in 3rd, with Enda O'Brien in 4th ahead of Tommy Doyle.
The unforeseen change in the weather has caught out many of the drivers. It's treacherous, it's slippy and it's difficult out there, but it hasn't dampened the spirits here at the Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Rally.
Welcome back to the 2017 Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Rally, where we'll now look at stages 3, 4 and 5, which also contained the second run of the famous Malls Gap stage. All the crews were warned of oil spills in a number of places for the second run over Malls Gap, so extra caution was required. But Dennis Moynihan still increased his overall lead across the 3 stages from 6 to 10 and to 13 seconds from Mark Falvey's Escort. They were now in pole position with 3 stages to run. Like Moynihan, Mark Falvey had some scares of the gap, which didn't help his efforts to reel in the leader.
To a sudden 5 right, it tightens to a sudden 5, and a slippy 1 left, and don't cut the 2 right. 150, keep right, and turn square left at the gap, slippery. And a crest into an extreme slippy 5 left.
Cork driver Owen Murphy was 4th for the first 4 stages. He was now up to 3rd after 5 tests as he got to grips with the newly built Sunbeam. But he was 1 minute and 3 seconds down, and that deficit looked insurmountable.
left over crest into sudden, 2 right, half long, push hard. And flat 6 left, half long. And keep flat left over flat crest, 60. Absolute flat 6 right, 450. Past the signs. Like Mitchell Sound Forest. Flat 6 left, 150. Caution 3 right, tightens over bump on bridge, shiny.
Ryan Barrett looked like he was about to surrender his 2016 title as he'd no answer to the pace of the front three. He was spooked a little by the oil spills and offs on Moll's Gap.
Into 1 right hook plus. Whoa. Into 4 left. Plus cut. 2 right plus cut of the sign. 1 left don't cut. Sudden 4 left at the bush. At the bush. At the bush. And 3 right hook plus. Long 1 left. And 4 right. Now these are going to be slippy. 4 right hook plus this one. 60. 4 left hook plus. Use the road in the way out of this. Greasy. And 1 left. 60, 3 left, don't cut at the bottom into 3 right hook plus. Again, just tidy on these ones.
Melvin Evans was concerned by an unexpected oil light in his new Mark II, but it turned out to be a faulty switch. Evans was 5th after 5.
Melvin, you're holding your own despite gearbox problems.
Yeah, we've changed the box last night, and the last stage we had an oil light come on with it, so we backed off a little bit, but hopefully it's a faulty switch. It seems to be okay now, so.
Gareth Lloyd was looking to capitalise on his compatriot's misfortune, but with 3 stages to run, the gap between the 2 Welsh drivers stood at 35.1 seconds. David Byrne was calling the notes for Lloyd in a very precise manner.
Turn square right. $60 then. Flat right now. 100 then. Flat left. 250. Flat left again. Flat left here now, 80 then to a flat right. Then 150, turn hairpin left. Hairpin left, then 80. Flat right now.
Gareth, you're playing a stormer in Killarney.
It's going okay. We had a thrust bearing failure there, so we had to nurse it through the last 2, but we're still in touch, so we'll try and get back. We'll see what we can do with Melvin now for the next 3, so we'll see.
Another Welshman, Carmarthen's Wyn Hughes, loving the stages in Killarney, especially since they don't close the roads in his native country. His escort was in the top 15 with 3 to go. This, the father and daughter crew of David and Nina Goose, competing as more UK visitors are enticed to Killarney by the spectacular stages and friendly atmosphere of the kingdom.
Well, this is our 2nd year with my daughter Nina, so we really enjoyed it. Very slippy and challenging today, but we're still going and enjoying it. Looking forward to the stage in the dark this evening, so it should be all good fun.
Tim, all the way from the UK, and it really seems like the international entry is massive this year. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just the attraction of the rally. You don't get roads like this anywhere else in my experience. We came 2 years ago, the rally was unfortunately rained off, and we've come back again and it's been brilliant.
Always a welcome sight and sound on the stages is the Porsche 911 of Monaghan driver Brendan McAree.
Brendan, what a stunning car.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to keep it this way now to the rest of the evening. We're having a great run and enjoying the crack, so last year we went out on the 2nd last stage, so we want to go one better this time here.
As always, there are class trophies to be won, and leading class C3 in the Escort Mark I for the delivery pairing of Morris and Stephen Meskill. Philip McKibben, who won this class in the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship this year. Lynn McKibben is his co-driver. Donald O'Connor, the Class C3 winner for the previous season, had also bagged a couple of Southern 4 titles, but was 3rd in class on his home rally.
Such a great atmosphere in Killarney.
Such a great atmosphere, classic stages. Morris Nagel's brainchild 21 years ago. This is the proof of it. Very good, and it's great to see you in Kerry.
Away from historics now in the hard-charging modified, still led by the escort of Rob Duggan. His lead now stood at 29.3 seconds. Hard to see Rob and Tara Duggan being caught now.
3 left plus at the lane, into 3 right plus, and left 40, right into 3 left minus. right plus and 2 left plus carry 50. 2 left plus, a flat right and 5 left plus into 4 right minus, straight over crest 30.
Robbie Duggan, 29-second lead. You must be feeling pretty proud of yourself.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's been a tough morning though. We've put in a lot of effort to get the 30-second lead, so just have to kind of do the work now to keep it that way, keep our noses clean for these 3. Won't be easy, but we'll keep trying.
The bonnet pin broke and the bonnet flipped up on Moll's Gap on second place Gary Kiernan, eventually breaking off completely. But that didn't seem to faze Kiernan.
Gary, it's getting pretty hot in this car.
Yeah, well, we're 29. I'd say we have a race thrown away there now. He got 15 the gap the first time and 10 the second time, which really put us back. But he's still driving very hard. We'll just keep going flat out and see if he makes a mistake.
In third and 58 seconds back from Duggan was Jonathan Bringle in his beautifully liveried Escort.
Just back after a long break, so I suppose the local knowledge from the man in front there helped as well. But yeah, look, it was. We'll try and get through the rest of it.
And O'Brien may have been considering a podium place, was in the offing as he lay fourth after 5 stages, 17.4 seconds off third place Pringle.
These stages you're experiencing are some of the best in the world.
Sure, they're incredible. Like Moll's Gap, although it was very slippy today, Ballockbeam, Carroll Lake now the last time round, and grip for the wet was just incredible, and the scenery, but I didn't see much of it, but it's just a brilliant stage, like super.
Tommy Doyle, fifth in modified, said he was cautious on Moll's Gap but enjoyed his first running of the Carroll Lake stage. Armagh's Damien Toner admitted he'd no answer to the pace of Duggan, but had Doyle in his sights. And still going well on their Escort, the local crew of Colin and Kieran O'Donoghue.
2 left over bumps, 130. 130 now. Long 2 left and 2 left 80. Caution 3 left at the wall, tightens the 4 left in. 3 left at the wall, tightens the 4 left in.
Colin O'Rourke and Shane Gilhooly from Leitrim were running further down the field, not as competitive as the others, but it's not always about setting blistering times.
Turn square left 40. Turn square left 40. Left over crest 6. Left over crest 6 left. Left 6 left 80. 6 left 80. 6 left 80 easy.
3 stages to run in this year's 2017 Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Rally. Plenty of families around its service as Siobhan caught up with the event sponsor, Mike O'Mahony.
And you know, you sponsor the event, you also sponsor a lot of drivers, and you know, you brought the fabulous Jimmy McRae over here. What do you think it means to the people of Killarney to have such a legend competing?
I mean, you can see, you know, just around Jimmy's car, always at service, there's, you know, he's surrounded by fans. We also have Charlie Hickey, we have Rob Duggan, and we have Mark Falvey. Yeah, overall, it's been a phenomenal success, a great day out for Rentokil Initial. We're thrilled to be associated with it.
And now on to stages 6 and 7, the second run over Carroll Lake and the first of 2 runs over Rockfield. Later on, it will also be the final test on this year's event and run in the dark. Plenty had braved the cold to be part of the action on this year's event. Dennis Moynihan continued his steady run in the Escort. He kept his lead at 13 seconds after stage 6, but that was cut to 9.1 seconds with the 9th stage to come. Mark Falvey was now chipping away at the overall lead to bring it under 10 seconds with 1 stage to run. In the darkness, anything could happen. Falvey was still in it. No problems for last year's winner, Ryan Barrett. He retook 3rd place after runs 6 and 7. The podium place was the best, though, that Barrett could hope for now.
And 1 left hook plus 100. Long 2 left tightens to 3 left minus, and caution, very sudden 6 right hook.
Owen Murphy admitted there were some teething issues with the setup of his Sunbeam, and he dropped to 4th, 11.6 seconds off Barrett, with Rockfield 2 to come. Having overcome his gearbox issues, Melvin Evans now just wants to bring the Escort home safely. He was in 5th, 34.6 seconds off Murphy. Rob Duggan kept his near half-a-minute lead over stages 6 and 7, and the 2015 Motorsport Ireland Young Rally Driver of the Year is easing off to bring it home in front.
Left into fast 4 right plus push, 100 up the middle. Short 4 left plus push, and flat 5 right 100. Turn square right, small gravel, slippy to finish, 30. 5 right minus 80. 5 left minus, narrow, slippy, 60.
Gary Kiernan wasn't giving up though, and set 2 fastest times on stages 6 and 7 in the modified Escort, but the gap's surely now insurmountable, 28.1 seconds with 1 to go. Enda O'Brien also wasn't in the mood to back off. He was up to 3rd again in modified. Also elevated over 6 and 7 was Tommy Doyle, who was up to 4th, unlikely however to grab a podium over the final test. Problems though for Jonathan Pringle, who dropped from 3rd to 5th in the category after an off-road moment, and he retired at final service with just 1 stage to run. A real shame.
That last stage you were turned into a square left and the steering locked to 90 degrees. We couldn't get it and went into a sort of ditch, so we couldn't get it back out, and then it freed itself, and yeah, it's too risky to go on now. There's a bearing collapsed in the bulkhead, so that's us for today.
So just 1 stage to come, and the top 5 in historics. Dennis Moynihan leads by 9.1 seconds from Mark Falvey. Can he pull it back? In modified, Rob Duggan still leads 28.1 seconds ahead of Gary Kiernan, and O'Brien up to 3rd, Tommy Doyle in 4th, and Jonathan Pringle in 5th, but he would retire.
What an incredible event so far, and it's not over yet as we head into the formidable night stage. Now, who'll take home the podium in both the historics and the modified? It's still all to play for right here at the Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Rally.
Welcome back to the Killarney Historic Rally 2017, and with 7 stages down, there's 1 to go for the remaining cars and crews. The first 7 were done in daylight, but now the sun was setting as the service crews were preparing for the night stage. The modified category looked home and hose for Rob Duggan's Escort, but with only 9.1 seconds between the top 2 in historics, leader Dennis Moynihan couldn't rest on his laurels ahead of the final stage at Rockfield.
Dennis, only seconds between yourself and Mark now. How's the form?
Oh, it's good, yeah. Looking forward to the one of the dark. We'll give it a blast and see what happens.
Mark, a great battle as always between yourself and Dennis. There's only about 8 seconds in it now. I mean, do you think with the night stages coming up, you've a chance to pip him to the post?
I don't know. Like, I suppose if we had a couple of more stages, it could get interesting, but in the dark, and it's only a 5-minute stage, so I don't think we'll do it this time, but it must be good to watch and for the spectators, I would say.
Ryan, it's been a great battle, but not looking like you're going to reclaim your glory this year.
Not going to happen this weekend. To be fair with Mark and Dennis, they're on the limit. You know, I couldn't get near them, to be quite honest. You know, so a fair play to them. They're driving really well.
So, with a little tension in the air, despite Falvey's assertions that he couldn't catch Moynihan, the pair headed off for the final test. Before we get to the results of this year's event, we caught up with Neil Phelan, an associate sponsor through Ace Signs, on why he loves Killarney so much.
I don't know what it is about Killarney. It was always the big one, and it remains that, you know. I love to go there.
And heading into the night stage now, is that going to be completely foreign territory?
No, I did it here last year, and I actually loved the night stage. So now it's dirtier this year, so I'm a little bit wary of that, but I'm looking forward to it.
As the crews head off to tackle the night stage, we round up the various classes and have a look at some of the local club members in action. First up, the historic classes in Class K. 4th was Seamus Burke in the BMW M3. Seamus is from Donegal, but he lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He rallied in Ireland in the 1980s, winning several rallies in an ex-Mikola Mark II Escort that won the 1979 RAC Rally. His final rally was in 1985, the Monaghan Rally, which he won before he emigrated to the USA.
Left and 5 left, 6 left and 5 left, and then crest stop for 3 right. When you see the crest, 1 ahead, see the crest stop for 3 right. Into 3 right minus over wet crest, 3 right minus wet crest, left 40, keep out right for chicane right, entry 3 bales.
3rd in Class K, Brendan McAree and Niall Kelly in the Porsche. 2nd, John Coyne and Stephen Joyce's Talbot Sunbeam. 1st and winner of Class K, David Pritchard and Emer Hall in the Ford Escort. On to Class B2 and third Ila Carthy and Stephen Reynolds in their cheeky Mini Cooper S. Second, the Limerick pairing of David and Rita D in another Mini. While the winner, Colin McDowell and Michael Spence, a dominant class win by nearly 14 minutes. The Class C2 winners in their Ford Escort Mark 1 were George Swanton and Lavisha Highland. On to Class C3, third, Donald O'Connor and Pat Cashman in their Mark 1 Ford Escort.
One left continues for 250, 70. 70 to 2 right, 40. 42 left at the chicane, right entry. 32 left at the chicane, right entry.
Philip McKibben brought his Mark 1 Ford Escort home in second place in Class 3C, while the winners, the Mescals, Morris and Stephen, in their Ford Escort.
Yeah, 4 left here now. 3 right plus, keep in. 3 right plus, keep in. 80. 2 left over crest. 2 left over crest here. 4 right after it. 60 and a slippy 5 left. Slippy 5 left here.
Class C5, second the legend that is Jimmy McRae, traversing the night stage and onto the finish ramp, getting the Vauxhall Forenza home safely.
Very famous rallying name.
Jimmy, you were excited about this event. Did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, it always does. It's a new car and we've never used it in tarmac, so it was a bit suck it and see to start with. But no, the car's gone well and we've made 1 or 2 adjustments, made it better for tires, so hopefully we'll ask back next year.
Don't think there's any doubt about that, Jimmy. First in Class C5 local crew, Pat Looney and Tom Kelleher in the Escort. Top 3 in Class D3. Third place goes to John McLaughlin and John Delvin in the Ford Escort. Second, Alan Watkins and Lion Tractor Williams in the RS 2000. And a 1.2 second win in the class for Duncan Williams and Guy Weaver in their Ford Escort. And so to the modified classes, and there in Class 1, Kevin Flanagan and Vanessa Hamilton won in their Austin Mini Cooper S. Third in Class 2, Colin Fitzgerald and Ian McCarthy in their Mark II Ford Escort.
And 5 right, into 6 left, into 5 left. 5 left here now, 60 go. 6 left, and 5 left, and caution crest into 3 right, into 3 right over crest very west.
The winners of Class 2 in modifieds, Victor Beamish and Susan Beamish in their Opel Corsa.
And 5 left, 4 right, 6 left at firm, 100. 1 left and 4 right. And care on 4 left long, your own care. And 6 right.
In Class 3, fifth home, James Cassidy and Jane Collins in their Ford Escort Mark II.
And then a short 5 right go. Short 5 right go 40. Long absolute 2 right and go 170. 170 after this. The absolute 2 left, carrier speed 130. Absolute 2 left, carry 130. Long 2 left, carry again to a 2 left again 80.
And the top 2 in Class 3. Second home, Vincent Collins and Patrick Brides in their Ford Escort. The winner of Class 3, Tommy McDonough and Paul Hickey, delighted to get to the finish in their Mark II Escort.
3 right, 5 left onto 5 right, and a square left. Square left 60 and a late 5 right don't cut. 3 right 80. Fast and flowing now over the finish. Keep her going. 3 left to 3 right and 3 left. 3 left to 3 right and 3 left. Come on, 3 right, 3 left, 80. 1 left over crest through the finish. That was a good cut now.
Class 4 winners, Damien O'Reilly and Martin Byrne in their Mark II Ford Escort. Class 5 and in 8th place, the pairing of John Boland and Gavin Downey.
4 right don't cut.
In 7th, Damien O'Sullivan and Owen McCarthy. It was a go-in car with the pair on the night stage.
At the wall, and it tightens to 5 right past the junction. Repeat, 4 right at the wall, it tightens to 5 right past the junction. 300 out of it.
And the top 3 in Class 5, Richard Harney and Brian Harney.
Square left, tail inside. And then you've a caution bump in the 3 left, don't cut. Caution bump now, 3 left, don't cut. 3 left here now, don't cut. 1 out, mind.
2nd, James McCarville and Paddy McCrudden, despite this hard revving spin on Moll's Gap. Winners of Class 5, Colin O'Donoghue and Kieran O'Donoghue. Class 6, their top 6. And in 6th, Shane Cullen and Dennis Greeny in the Ford Escort.
You have 100, right long one left, you have 100. Turn hairpin right. Turn hairpin right. 4 left over the bridge. 4 left over the bridge, 2 right. Turn square left. Square left, easy out.
5th, John Hickey and Eamon Creedon. In 4th, Dara O'Riordan having some fun in a Mark II after his recent win at the Cork 20. Top 3, John O'Dugan and JP McAree recovering from this spin. In 2nd, Leonard Downey and Mark Murphy. And the winners of Class 6 in the Toyota Corolla Twin Cam were Raymond Conlon and James O'Reilly. They won eventually by 11.2 seconds in their class. And now the overall results for the modified category. In 8th place, father and son, Charlie and John Hickey, the local crew getting their car home. In 7th, Colin O'Donoghue and Kieran O'Donoghue, another of the crews from the Kingdom. 6th, Wesley Patterson and Johnny Baird, a regular visitor to Killarney, and indeed the 2012 modified winner. In 5th place, Damien and Marty Toner. 4th, Tommy Doyle and Liam Moynihan. In 3rd place, Enda O'Brien and John Butler. The Kilkenny pairing had a steady weekend, and a podium place in the modified was their prize. In 2nd place, not able to catch the winner on the last stage, the Ford Escort of Gary Kiernan and Ryan Moore. And the winner, Rob Duggan and Tara Duggan. Robert putting the disappointment of a poor WRC season behind him to win his local event, and a delighted Duggan now with a 2nd win in a row in the modified category in his Mark II Escort.
To win it last year was something crazy we couldn't even think of. To come back to do it 2 in a row is just surreal. It hasn't really kicked in yet, so delighted.
How did you fare?
I think good, yeah. It was my first time up the gap, first time in a 2.5 Millington, so it was a serious spin with Rob today.
And you loved the machinery today?
Oh, definitely. Thanks to CB Tool here for giving me the loan of the car, and Rentokil Initial for coming on board to make this dream come true, coming back here winning it a 2nd time.
To the overall historic rally now, and the top 8, and in 8th, Tim Piercy and Neil Shanks in their Ford. In 7th, Dennis Cronin and Helen O'Sullivan in their Ford Escort. Indeed, Ford Escorts dominate the top 8. Gareth Lloyd and David Byrne were in 6th place in their Oris 1800. In 5th place, Melvin Evans and Sean Haid. They managed to get their car home despite the gearbox problems, and 5th overall for the former National Rally champion. In 4th place, Owen Murphy and Anthony Nestor, as we go in car with the pair on the night stage.
150. turn square right, don't cut. Flat 6 right, 100. Flat 5 left over, flat crest, 100.
Third, the Ford Escort of Ryan Barrett and Paul McCann, never really in contention to retain his title. Mark Falvey was right. He couldn't catch Dennis Moynihan, had to be content with second place after the night stage, along with Dermot Lynch in their Ford Escort Mark 1. And the winner, Dennis Moynihan and Gerard Conway in their Ford Escort. In the end, the gap 11.4 seconds as he kept it together on the final night stage, and he arrived back to a hero's welcome in Killarney as they celebrated their historic victory.
There's only seconds between yourself and Mark Falvey.
Yeah, Mark put up a fabulous battle, and you know something, we're well used to it, the two of us, where we go at each other, hammer and tongs anytime we come up against each other, and it could have been just Mark's day as well as my day, you know.
Tips for navigating, what sealed the deal?
I don't know, just staying on the road. I think the conditions were very tricky all day, but delighted with it.
And as they sprayed the champagne, we welcome Mark Falvey, second place in the 2017 event.
Ex-Billy Coleman escort, Mark Falvey and Dermot Lynch.
Guys, it was so close. I mean, there was only seconds between yourself and Dennis.
Yes, that usually seems to be the way between Dennis and myself. So, unfortunately, this time we came out and, as the bridesmaid. So, no, we had a great day out, and we're just glad to be here without any mark in the car or anything.
The event is the first of the 2018 Irish Tarmac Historic Championship, and the top registered driver was Owen Murphy in the Sunbeam.
Killarney still one of the best rallies in Ireland.
Oh, it is. This is how I started rallying. My father rallied here 20 years ago on a Sunbeam on his 40th birthday. So this is the first rally I was ever at, and this got me hooked. So that's why he rallied in a Sunbeam. That's why I'm here in a Sunbeam.
These the top 5 in historics. Dennis Moynihan wins, 11.4 seconds ahead of Mark Falvey. Ryan Barrett in third, Owen Murphy in fourth, and Melvin Evans took a creditable 5th place. In the modified, the winner, Rob Duggan, 25.5 seconds over Gary Kieran in the end. Enda O'Brien in third, Tommy Doyle in fourth, and Damien Toner finished in 5th place.
The Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Rally proved once again that it's one of the best events in Europe, with only seconds between the top drivers. Dennis Moynihan took home the historics, and Kerryman Rob Duggan was victorious in the modifieds. From all of us here at the Glen Eagle Hotel in Killarney, bye for now.
So that's it from Killarney. Until the next time, we leave you with some of the best action from throughout the day.